I wanted to update everybody on our NICU journey. Our NICU journey started 2022, May 14th. Our little baby girl, Lou Mae Brandt, was born, and we uniquely share a birthday. And we were in the NICU for 2 weeks until she unfortunately passed away. And I did a video more in depth about that experience, the details, and what we went through. And so if you haven't watched that yet, I'd recommend you go watch that. But I wanted to talk about how that experience of losing our baby girl and going through that heartbreaking situation led us to today, where now me and my wife have a 4-month-old baby boy named Henry Thomas Brandt. And the reason why I wanted to put this video together as a part 2 is because of the lessons that Lou taught me and things that I was able to learn that I'm applying today as a father. Just the other night, I was actually sleeping and I had a weird dream. And I usually don't have dreams. I really like The Walking Dead, so I always have dreams about being in The Walking Dead and protecting my family or protecting other people or running around killing zombies or running away from zombies. I had a weird dream and it was just like a flash, and I don't know, you could call it a vision from God, or maybe it was just my imagination. I don't know, but it kind of sparked this idea that made me want to make this video. But in that dream, I just saw a quick flash of Annalyn, my wife, with Henry, and then there was this little girl who was probably 3 or 4 years old, a little bit bigger than Henry, obviously, and she was playing with him. And Henry was probably like a toddler age, so he was like kind of standing but wobbly, and this little girl was like holding him or like kind of like helping stabilize him, and they were laughing together. And my wife Annalyn was just watching. And that's just what I saw for a quick glimpse or a quick second. And my first initial thought was, hey, we need to have a baby. We need to have another baby, and it's gonna be a baby girl. But then I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, kind of weird that she was older than Henry. And then it made sense. Like, that was probably Lou. Call it what you may. And I don't know, maybe it was in my imagination. But I want to express my feelings of gratitude for what Lou was able to give me. Because now as a father, it really puts things into perspective. Being a new parent is hard. And it's not hard as in, oh, it's impossible, you can't do it. It's hard as in, I would say it's just more inconvenient. You're waking up in the middle of the night. Your kid is screaming because he won't go to sleep. And you're just thinking, dude, please just go to bed. Your ears are ringing from him shrieking in them for the last hour and a half. And you can get frustrated. And you want to get angry, you want to get mad, and then you remember, okay, they're just a baby. Take a breath, switch. So like when Annalyn gets too frustrated, she gives him to me. When I get too frustrated, I give him to her. But in those times, I'm so lucky and grateful for Lou, because it could be really easy to get frustrated. And I'm not saying that I don't get frustrated, but I am so lucky to be able to have that opportunity to be frustrated. When we had Lou in the NICU, and for those 2 weeks, they didn't really let us have a lot of hands-on experience with her, just because we were trying to get her healthy, keep her from getting sick, and just trying to get her strong enough. She was hooked up to all these cords, and so we weren't able to hold her or really interact with her. And that was really hard on Annalyn, because she wanted to be a mom. She's like, that's my baby, but I can't be her mom. And luckily enough, when we got the unfortunate news that your daughter, she isn't gonna make it. She has a few hours left. So essentially the doctor was like, you let us know when you're ready to pull the plug. And that was just like such a hit to the chest of, hey, let us know when you're ready for your daughter to die. Like literally, you're like, nothing prepares you for that, especially for anyone that's had a miscarriage or they had a pregnancy that maybe, took a wild turn, you're not even mentally preparing for those things. So it's not like you were, preparing for this hard decision. It's just all of a sudden, boom, all of these big adult decisions start coming up. Me and my wife, we were able to call our family. They were all able to see her, and we were able to let the grandparents hold her, spend some quality time with her. And then they gave me and Anna Lynn a couple hours, just the three of us. And this was probably the most special moment that we had. She was still on oxygen and still on some things, but I remember just wanting to read her a story. And that was just the best experience, to just read her a book. And that's the one thing that I remember, is being able to read her a book and just thinking, wow, I can't believe how this little tiny thing of reading her a book is so meaningful to me. And now, having a son, all of those little things I cherish so much more. I hold on to those a lot more. I hold on to the little giggles and the little laughs. Him sitting next to me when I'm working on my computer and he's sitting next to me in his little chair, just kind of mumbling, talking on his podcast, whatever you want to say. And I just love that time, those little moments, even though there's not anything really going on. But I love that Lou taught me to cherish those little moments like that. So the reason why I wanted to just put my thoughts out there, because a lot of people are struggling with something like this. It's something that we often don't talk about. It's not fun to talk about. And it relates to someone who lost a child at a young age, somebody who had a miscarriage, somebody who had a stillbirth, or people that just struggle at having kids. It relates to all of those. Now, I am truthfully blessed, and I don't discount that, because there are people that have gone through harder things than I have, going through harder things than I have. Everyone has different trials, and this is just purely my experience and what I have been able to learn from it. And the reason why really these emotions and these thoughts are so top of mind. We had a close friend who is going through something similar right now. And it's really hard to describe or explain the emotions when somebody's in the moment. But I wish, or if I could send this video to my past self 2 or 3 years ago, I would love to tell them or tell him that this experience is going to help you in so many ways. God has given you a gift. One, he has given you a daughter that is so perfect, that is just an angel, that she doesn't need this life. She is already perfect. She doesn't need to be tested, to be changed. She is ready for that next step. And then you have also been given the gift of perspective. And I hope that I will be able to keep this perspective for the rest of my life. Because your kids, I'm sure down the road, my kids are gonna piss me off. I am gonna get mad, but I'm gonna have that little thought of, remember Lou. Remember how precious she is. Remember how precious that was. That's what it's all about. Not getting caught up in the moments, but remembering to just love and appreciate the good times and the bad times. Because at the end of the day, you're lucky you're even having those times. If that makes sense. And so, speaking to my former self, you're so lucky, because it made being a father of a newborn so much easier and gave you so much more gratitude, or it will give you so much more gratitude for being a father, and you're going to cherish it so much more. You're going to truly soak up all of those little moments in ways that you didn't even know possible. People say when you become a parent that you find this type of love that you can't explain, and it's true. And that love grows over time. For anyone that is struggling or going through those moments, or going through a moment, or has been through that, hopefully once the pain or the shock, it goes away, you're able to look back with joy on that experience. So going back to Lou, and probably the hardest part for me was I had already mentally started preparing. I had already started thinking about the baby's room, the things that we were gonna do together, taking her to the park to feed the ducks, signing her up for t-ball and coaching her t-ball games, and coming home from work and hearing her scream daddy. Those moments, and for anyone that's been through this, are just ripped right out of nowhere, stolen from you. You feel like you've been robbed. And it's a little bit of anger, it's a little bit of sadness, it's a little bit of everything. It's almost just disbelief. It's just like shock. Your entire world has been flipped upside down. What you thought was gonna be the next 18 years of your life, 20 years, really the next 40 years of your life, really the rest of your life, that small piece is no longer going to exist. And it's really hard for your brain to comprehend that. But eventually, and I don't know, we were lucky, we were able to have a procedure done that made it possible for us to have kids in the future, and we're able to have more kids down the road. And we're able to have that blessing today in this life. And so I don't speak to those that are still going through this. I simply speak from my perspective that I am so grateful for that experience. I'm so grateful for Henry today. And he's just the cutest little guy. And I just look at him and I'm so happy that, Lou really paved the way for him. Without Lou, we would have never known about Annalyn's condition, and simply someone had to come first in order for us to have kids. And it's sad. It really is sad. And the part of me was upset. Just felt like, why? Why did you take this from us? Why did you take this from her? Why did you take away this experience from her, God? That's kind of what I was thinking. Not in a mad way, but I just had that question. Why did you take this away from her? Not necessarily us, but just all of the experience that she was never gonna have. Now, I'm a believer in a bigger plan, a bigger picture. Life on this earth is just a tiny millisecond of eternity. That's what honestly allows me to get through a lot of this. She was the one, and she made it possible for Henry and for all the other ones. And now when we see Henry, he's our little miracle baby. We're so lucky and blessed to have him. And our next babies are just gonna be little angels, and they're all gonna love their big sister. In my dream that I was having, I just remember thinking, or after I was like thinking about it, like, what was that? Like when you wake up from a dream, you're like, you can't really remember much of it. It's kind of fuzzy. But I just remember thinking, dang, I really wish that I could talk to her saying, hey, look, it's your little brother. Go help your little brother. Oh, isn't your little brother so cute? Just saying that to her, like little brother, and seeing her take care of him and grow up with him. And that kind of made me sad again. And that made me think of wanting to do this video. It's not that the pain goes away. It just makes you more grateful for the blessings that you do have and for the moments that you do have. I know one day, it'll all make more sense. And I know that Lou and Henry, they know each other. They've had those experiences. We're gonna be together as a family again. But it does make me a little bit sad today of just thinking, wow, life would be so much fun with a little 3-year-old, a newborn baby boy, and just the craziness that would bring. Part of me is like, oof, that sounds like a lot. But part of me, it's kind of sad. It misses that. It thinks about it. I wanted to make this NICU journey part 2 video to just share almost 3 years later where we're at as a family, how it has allowed us to grow personally, spiritually, as a couple. And that's another thing that I haven't hit on enough. It really allows you and your spouse to grow together where, hey, no matter what happens, it's me and you. It's me and you. And I think that's another blessing that often gets overlooked, because at the end of the day, it really is just going to be you and them. Hope this is helpful for anyone that has gone through that, going through this, or has spent time in the NICU, or is trying to comfort somebody that's going through this. And my number one piece of advice is just show up, just be there. Don't ask, hey, is there anything we can do for you? Just let us know. They're never gonna let you know. A simple gift card, just something that's a little bit unique or special, or simply just showing up and saying, hey man, how's it going? Putting your arm around them, but showing up. I look back and I remember it was the people that showed up. Now, we were also kind of overwhelmed because so many people were checking in, wanting to know how we were doing, wanted to know what they could do for us, and you're really just in shell shock. And imagine this. One day, you're expecting a newborn, you're expecting a baby, and then within a couple days, sometimes a week, in our scenario, 2 weeks, you're at the mortuary and they're telling you, okay, what kind of casket do you want? What kind of headstone are you gonna do? Where do you wanna have the funeral? Where are you gonna have them buried? All these crazy questions that you're like, dude, I did not plan on making any of these decisions, at least for another 70 what years. Don't suffocate them, but show up for them. Gift cards, a little bit of money. I know that DoorDash was so helpful for us. Gift cards to go out to eat, because really, you know, you just need stuff to do. So I think movie passes, you know, tickets to games, gift cards to go out to eat. Like, honestly, I think those are the best ways, at least for me, to just get your mind off of it. And it's really hard because it's hard to flip the switch of, oh, I'm just gonna go back to normal life, that this really crazy thing kind of happened that flipped my internal world upside down. But for everyone else, it didn't really change their world very much. But for me, it's just like earth shattering. But like, when am I supposed to go back to work? How am I supposed to talk about it with family? I remember a lot of people asking me, oh, I remember last time we talked, you guys were pregnant. How's your baby? And you're just like, dude, I'm about to make you feel like the biggest piece of garbage. And I laugh because I have a sense of humor about it. You know, hey, I'm about to make you feel like the biggest piece of garbage. Things didn't go well. You know, they're going through a lot of stuff. There's no perfect way to handle it. But show up, be there, do something. Don't overwhelm them. But I think by just showing up, they put you on the hierarchy of, hey, if we do need something, that person showed up with dinner. That person showed up with a card and something for us. They're probably gonna reach out more to them than the person that is like texting them, calling them, almost overwhelming them in a sense. So I don't know, that's just a personal opinion. That is the updated version of our little Lou and our NICU journey, how that has gotten us here today with our new baby boy, Henry Brandt. He's just the cutest little guy ever. Me and him were working to become TikTok stars together. He's a lot of fun. He's just like the sweetest little guy. He's got his mom's eyes. It's gonna be fun to see him grow up. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I loved in my last video, a lot of you shared your experiences about what you went through in the comments, and it kind of created a little community. And so if you've been through something similar, or you're grieving, or you personally have been through something like this, just share your experience. Share what helped you. Help us all learn, grow, and get through this crazy life together.